Happy Friday, March the 6th, Inside Scoopers. I'm Rodney Habib on this special live today, joined with my one and only, most followed, incredible veterinarian in the entire world, #1 New York Times bestselling vet, the lovely Dr. Karen Becker. Hello, and I am so excited today.
I am so excited today as well. Inside Scoopers, thank you for tuning in to this very special live. This is not a Sunday, it is a Friday. Thank you, Rodney, for joining me. I've got such fun, exciting things to share with you. And we're doing a special live today.
We're doing a special live, and something that this is like by far the most exciting for me, because this is a topic today that's like ultra sensitive in terms of my growth curve when it came to longevity, health span, and learning that life wasn't just about feeding organic farm raised raw foods to my dogs. I learned life very quickly, that there was other aspects to life, putting genetics to the side, putting stresses to the side, but a massive, massive component of it, which is today's environment.
Yeah, I hear you. And I learned about this topic. I was feeding organic, ethically sourced raw food. I live in a greenhouse. I don't use chemicals. My entire home is chemical free. And I had dogs with elevated liver enzymes every single summer. And I remember the year 2006, Rodney, when up until then, of course, I've recommended, milk thistle after heartworm and do things to support your animal's detox processes when needed. If you're going to go on something that's got to be metabolized through the liver, just make sure you're doing something for liver support. Got that. I remember the first time in my veterinary career when that quit working. 2006, I put my patients on milk thistle and liver enzymes didn't drop. And let me tell you, as a practitioner, that's a scary thing. And so I am excited to talk today about all of the other things we can do from all of the things that are bombarding our pets. Rodney, I think the biggest thing that we have to discuss right off the riff is that this is a topic that can incite some fear. And the purpose of me going live today is to help pet parents take a deep breath, see what's going on, and then just make an action plan that allows everyone to keep living their best life in a way that is not filled with stress and anxiety about having the best air filter and the best ability to take care of everything and be able to. I hear George Habib.
Yeah, he's my dad. I'm sorry, Inside Scoopers is yelling behind me. You can see him creeping there behind the door. He doesn't realize. Yeah, he can't hear you from my.
This is Rodney's dad.
Yeah, definitely can't hear you from my. I was kind of hoping that he wasn't picking up through the microphone. I was like, please tell me he's not picking up. He as he comes down, he yells on each and every single step as he goes down.
Yes.
As he says it.
I love it.
This is but this is a sensitive topic for a lot of people. You could tell, especially with what was going on in the US, where you're seeing a movement through your government system on trying to clean up the food system. And one of the things that I saw a lot of controversy around was the fact that red dye number 40 was being removed. And, for some people, it was like, oh gosh, I've eaten red dye before, I didn't die right away. And for other people, they understood that this was like a long-term accumulation of many things that can kind of bombard the body. Over the years, Inside Scoopers, I would always come to you, Karen, for your daily Detox Dozen. This was your detox that I've used with so many people here in my hometown in Nova Scotia, especially for the Inside Scoopers that are listening that are local. It's been such a life-saving detox medley for me with pets. I have actually here, let me switch to my full screen here. Do you remember Max? Inside Scoopers, if Max's mom is watching too, just give me a shout out. She's probably at work right now. This is a drawing of Max and me from, and I apologize to her name. I always remember the dogs. Whenever the moms. Max's mom, she came to me years ago with Max was on death row. He had 5 days to live, and he had just gone to PEI, the teaching hospital, and he had a whole bunch of shunts. And he was life was looking very grim for him. So they said, go spend the next. They gave her like a 5 day prediction. They were like, just go spend the remaining 5 days you have with Max. And she came to me, and I remember the first thing you were like, there's a lot of good advice in there, but the two big ones that stuck with me were, let's clean up his bowl,
Diet.
let's
Yep.
clean up his environment, and let's try this daily Detox Dozen
Detox
blend.
protocol.
And I swear to
Yep.
God, it saved this dog's life. The mother, Max lived many, 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 many years after that. He did not succumb to his liver prognosis. And this has been going on and on and on. There's going to be many inside scoopers that I'm sure that will chime in that have life-saving situations pertaining to the kidneys, pertaining to the gallbladder, pertaining to the liver, and how important it is to detox today. Because I think, like me and like a lot of people, you think that because you've got it locked down with diet, you don't realize how bad the environment is. And yeah, you can buy an air purifier like me and put one on every single floor, but there's so much going on that purifiers just don't get everything.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that there's kind of two categories of pet parents, Rodney. The first one that says, absolutely, I read the articles. I know what PFAS are. I know that we're ingesting microplastics at a credit card a month, I think, right now in terms of plastic load. Crazy things that research is showing is happening to our environment because the environmental load of chemicals and toxins is building. So even though we all have, health, we were most of us, including our pets, born with healthy livers and healthy kidneys, over time, this accumulative burden can become overwhelming. And there again, the goal isn't to stress anyone out about it. It just is what it is, Rodney. We live in a toxic environment. And what I found is either people say, I don't know what to do, I feel overwhelmed. Or Rodney, some people say, what a bunch of BS. Like it's not that bad. I feel fine. My animals look fine. So some of those stats can be pretty scary when you look at what the sources are for where environmental contamination can come in. It's
Yeah, and
everywhere.
and
And
we've
this
got
is when it's
yeah.
important to just take a deep
Yeah.
breath.
So we do
Yeah.
have some stats. Shout out to Crystal Dawn. Inside Scoopers, if you watch this week, this Sunday, we had the incredible Dr. Nikki Kamak on the Inside Scoop, and we were going over all of these studies that were recently published, like literally back to back to back, pertaining to all of these environmental pollutants, these heavy metals, these AGEs, these end byproducts, and so on and so forth that have been found in food and within the bodies of cats and dogs. It's gotten very, very overwhelming. Um, I want to kind of like segue for maybe the people that missed Sunday to go into that. But before we do that, let's just quickly talk about how you took the most incredible daily detox dozen and made my life so much easier because not only did you bundle them all together, so when I have to tell people, I don't get to give them a list like this that looks so darn overwhelming, but then more importantly, there's a lot of cat love going on here today too.
Yeah. And Rodney, first of all, I put them all together because I need it for I need it for my animals, and opening up all those capsules every single day becomes pretty daunting. But let me tell you, Rodney, kitties are some of the most toxic beings. And I'm going to show you that research. Kitties are low to the ground. They're inside of the house.
Yeah, published in scientific reports from Nature Inside Scoopers. We talked about this one before. One of the Cadillacs of the journals, the assessment of cat exposure to phthalates through phthalate metabolites and analysis of hair samples. And man, what they found was pretty darn overwhelming. For those of you that might be watching that don't know what phthalates are, they're the chemicals used to make plastics flexible. They're found in tons of everyday products like packaging, toys, electronics, cosmetics, and household items. And my gosh, Karen, when the results came back, all 100% of the cats, like all of them, were found with phthalates, everyday items that are in the environment that are accumulating in dust. And then cats are grooming themselves indoor dust. And you want to talk about something that's going to shorten your pet's lifespan? You've got again, as I mentioned before, you've got all this food on lockdown, but you're not controlling the toxic dust within your household. That's just one of many alarming studies that have been coming out over the last few months.
Yeah, Rodney, the myriad of insults that are hitting animals, the list is extensive. And it starts with air. And there's outdoor air quality, Rodney, indoor air quality stuff. And inside the house, if you are like me and you buy your couches from IKEA, I wish I could afford an organic. I wish I could get, I buy my carpet came from Home Depot. If you can afford organic carpet, organic couches, organic drapes, organic upholstery, then they are not sprayed with flame retardants. And you can get chemical-free, environmental, non-off gassing upholstery. But most people can't, and our animals are laying right on that. We're not using a air purifiers on a regular basis. And a lot of times air purifiers do a good job, but you're not catching all of the contaminants.
Yeah. So let's first of all, let's introduce, shall we, your brand new product, and then we'll jump into some of the things that are going on with the household. So maybe those that may be listening that are unaware will be aware, and it might enlighten you to some of the things that potentially could be going on. But without further ado, there it is, your
There it
brand
is.
new liver lift, the world's first one of its kind, precision formulated, science backed full detox for dogs and cats. And let me tell you, I am friggin' excited for you.
Yeah, this is actually this product I'm most excited about because there isn't, I'll probably say that every product, but honestly, there isn't a detox out there like this that is safe and gentle for every day. It literally is daily detox for everyday exposures. And I'm going to zip through, Rodney, real quick and explain to you why I put these bioactives into this product. But it's such an easy, simple way to just reduce the anxiety about what you need to give and when, and also does such an amazing job. Thank you, Valeria. Thank you for all the hearts and love. We are working on making all of my products available worldwide. You have to do all of these government forms for import export. I'm doing that worldwide. So you guys hang in there with me until we get our international shipping nailed down. You have to do it legally. And so I'm in the process of doing that to be able to provide these products to everyone worldwide. But liver lift is a really important thing, Rodney, because when I was trying to decide what to name it, it's so hard because I could have called it kidney detox, gut
Yeah.
detox, lymphatic detox, blood detox, central nervous system detox. It's one of those products that most people know that the liver is the primary organ of detoxification. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the liver is just one of those organs. And when I zip over the list of the amount of environmental chemicals, that, yeah, there is a pass through the liver, but that they hit the central nervous system or they hit the gut first, or they end up going through the kidneys, especially for our blessed kitties. One of the most important things to me is that we were able to help support our blessed cats' kidneys over time. Most of you guys know 3 out of 4 cats are dying of kidney failure. And if we are not doing anything to help remove this environmental contamination load for our kitties, that is something that we need to be thinking about. So,
For sure.
an important.
Did you want me to jump through and talk about a little bit about what the environment is looking like and how scary it is pertaining to some of these news articles that have been coming out?
Let's just zip. Let's zip through because Inside Scoopers, you may have.
Yeah, when you take a look at cancer cases right now, look at those alarming stats in people under 50. It's up worldwide nearly 80% in 3 decades. Now, there's many things that the reviewers took into account, but one of the biggest things that you can see here, environmental exposure, and that's really, really shifting the microbiome. I mean, just take a look at the planet. According to this study that's been published, it is reported that more than 90% of the world's population resides in regions with poor air quality. And you've said it all the time, Karen, right? Either buy a filter or your pet will be the filter. That's sort of the sad reality of what's happening in today's households. And study after study that's been coming out, here's one: indoor particulate matter induces epigenetic changes in companion atopic dogs, meaning dogs with skin allergies. Many people go rushing through their stores trying to find out what maybe potentially could be going on when it comes to, is it food? Is it a tree outside, and most of the time, according to researchers, it has to do with the particulate matter that's indoors that's causing all the issues. And now the term in science, the sentinels of environmental pollution, which are our pets, they spend the most time at home. Here's a peer-reviewed study that came out by the Dog Aging Project, where they put these silicone tags on these dogs for just 120 hours, 5 days, and had them roam around the house. And what these poor animals were picking up, what was clinging on to not only the silicone collar, but obviously their fur. Look at the pesticides, the phthalates, the PCBs, the BFRs. It's endless. And so this kind of, Karen, goes into the problems with in the household.
Hey, Valeria, thank you so much. Rodney, people are saying that when you show slides, my mic turns off. So that's why I'm not saying
Oh,
anything.
well, you weren't really saying very much. That's probably why. It's probably because I talk the
Well,
entire time. Inside Scoopers,
no,
if
no,
you
no,
can
well,
hear
no,
the
me
good
also.
doctor, yeah,
Yeah,
tell us if you can hear
yeah,
the good doctor.
yeah. So we have a couple people saying, and so I will just chime in and say, these are all environmental contaminants that are very common, Rodney, in households, and they're quiet. And so it's not like your animals aren't going to puke, have blowout diarrhea, or start gasping or have an acute asthma attack. These are slow insults that occur over time, and it just is this cumulative effect of volatile organic compounds that are released into the air that come from basically every room of your house, Rodney.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pretty scary list. And check it out. This is one of the most recent papers that come out inside Scoopers. You can find 2.4 times higher perfluorochemicals from strain grease proof coatings in dogs, 23 times the higher values of flame retardants in cats, 5 times more mercury. And according to the Environmental Working Group in their famous study, 48 out of 70 chemicals tested, including 43 at levels higher than those typically found in people. And that's not just indoor. You and I have spoken about this ad nauseum outdoor, within the lawn, around the house.
Outside, yeah, that's right. Outside is not necessarily any safer. Now, those of you that are using organic lawn and garden care, awesome. But you probably, like me, I live in a community that is spraying everything. So even though my little tiny, tiny, 200 square feet yard is chemical free, Homer's walking through pesticides on a daily basis because I take him on walks in public places. So it is difficult to get away from it. And what I have decided, Rodney, is I do just want to live my life with my dog and cat. I don't want to have anxiety. I just want to be able to let Homer walk wherever he wants to walk and then do what I can on a daily basis to facilitate the excretion of these environmental toxins out of his body. I know he has exposure. I know Callie has exposure. So what I'm doing is it's 2 steps backwards with environmental exposures that I can no longer control, but it's 4 steps forward by putting in the raw materials that assist their body in appropriate detoxification.
Yeah.
So that's why I am most excited about this particular product. Inside Scoopers, this is the lineup. I started off with glycine. Glycine is a really important amino acid that's necessary for the body to help excrete pesticides, herbicides, VOCs, mycotoxins. And glycine is, even though the body can make some, the amount of glycine needed, Rodney, to actually produce the internal antioxidant glutathione, the body needs more of it to be able to create enough internal antioxidants to be able to do its job. So glycine is a common sense input for me for one of these important nutraceuticals to be able to supply the body with adequate glycine for the raw materials to be able to make internal antioxidants.
Yeah, how important is
Now you love yourself some carnosine as much as I do. Inside Scoopers, we talk about carnosine. We started out in Forever Dog talking about carnosine, and then we just kept going. But you want to talk a little bit about why carnosine is so
Yeah,
important?
and so obviously you've been seeing study after study. We just talked about it this Sunday, as I mentioned earlier, with Dr. Nikki pertaining to this new study here, Karen, a comparative analysis of the Maillard-derived a dicarbonyl compound in advanced glycation end products in fresh, wet, kibble, and freeze-dried foods. They found advanced glycation products in absolutely everything. Here's actually a picture of us. This is shout out to VCU Massey Comprehensive Cancer Center. That was when we sat just not too long ago, sat down with Dr. David Turner and Dr. Finley to talk about what the detrimental effects to AGEs are. Now, Inside Scoopers, if you're not familiar with or if you might be new to the program and you're not familiar with what advanced glycation end products are, because that is a very, very hard word. Let me just switch back here. Um, Advanced glycation end products are basically produced during pet food manufacturing, right? So it's the proteins, the carbohydrates, that reaction, that end product that you get forms these. Imagine them to be like these little spiky balls, these advanced glycation end products. And my gosh, Karen, they can cause a multitude of problems when it comes to our pets.
They sure can. And probably the biggest concern is that, as you mentioned, every pet food category has them. So, Rodney, I used to think, in fact, when I wrote Forever, when we did Forever Dog Weeks, said to people, if you're feeding any dry food, it's really important that you're giving some carnosine, because carnosine has actually been demonstrated to help bind up AGEs in the gut, Rodney, before they're absorbed into the body. That still holds true. AGEs, there's a receptor inside Scoopers on about every cell of your dog and cat's body. There is a receptor for these unwanted chemical byproducts, and they create a long list of the number one things that we see in the exam room. We have dozens and dozens of papers demonstrating that AGEs create damage to tissues that ultimately end in a whole host of degenerative organ diseases, as well as immune system imbalances like allergies and cancer. So, Rodney, I used to think, okay, if I have a lot of my clients can't afford fresh food, no problem, just give some carnosine when you're giving dry food to help bind up those AGEs in the gut. I don't know if you've seen recent studies talking about ALES, advanced lipoxidation end products in raw meat. So there is oxidation that occurs in fat, and oxidized fats in raw meat-based diets create ALES. And the beautiful thing is that carnosine, thank goodness, also helps with ALES and AGEs. So carnosine I love, because if you're going to feed foods that are not completely fresh and that you are buying, and if you're buying fresh ingredients at your grocery store and making homemade food, your animal does not need carnosine. If you are purchasing raw food diets or you're purchasing commercial foods, then that storage time, along with the fact that these foods are sitting in plastic, all raw foods that I have ever purchased for Homie and Callie are in plastic. It just is what it is. So I do use carnosine on my raw fed babies because there's still exposure to
Yeah.
ales, and the food is still coming. When I buy commercial raw foods, it's still coming in plastic.
It's in
So
everything.
carnosine's a nice addition.
Yeah,
It is,
it's
Rodney. You
there's
can't get
no
away from it.
every single study that's come out, all they've been finding is advanced glycation end products. And Inside Scoopers, in such a layman term, according to Dr. David Turner, the world leading expert on advanced glycation end products, they age your pet faster. They get them off the planet faster. So there are things that we can do. As you're working right now on book number 3, one of those would be L-carnosine, which is essential. How awesome is it that now it's in the product? Okay.
Yeah. So N-acetylcysteine is next up, and NAC inside Scoopers. We talk a lot about NAC on every Sunday, maybe not every Sunday, but almost. Rodney, veterinarians already use NAC actually as a form of prescription emergency treatments for dogs kitties that eat Tylenol accidentally. It is the treatment of choice for acetaminophen toxicosis. But N-acetyl, and part of the reason is that N-acetylcysteine does such a good job at helping to protect the body when drugs are coming in, any type of drug that is metabolized through the liver. NAC does this amazing job at helping to support and undergird healthy liver metabolism of drugs. So I did include it in this product because NAC also helps to reduce pesticide exposure. Couple of papers demonstrating how it helps with clear flame retardants out of the body. And Rodney, NAC also has a special attraction to metal-induced oxidative stressors, including things like copper. So I do like NAC as an overall detox supplement. Many of my clients have used milk thistle and NAC together. Many of my clients have purchased these independently or by themselves and are blending them together. N-acetylcysteine is also a component of how the body makes glutathione. So NAC is kind of a glutathione precursor, but it's one of the best things we can do. If you have an animal that is consistently on medication, that has to be on NSAIDs, that has to be on consistent phenobarbital, that has to be on consistent medication that would be beneficial for a little bit of liver support going on, NAC's your buddy. So that is an excellent way to continually allow the body to produce enough glutathione to be able to withstand chronic ongoing stressors that the liver has to deal with. Next up is your favorite. Now, I didn't include sulforaphane because it's your favorite, Rodney. I included sulforaphane because it does such an amazing job with
It
mycotoxins.
does. It does everything. It's not even like it's you could just kind of hold it at aflatoxins, but there's like broccoli sprouts is so multifaceted. But Inside Scoopers, when you look at even more studies, we just talked about this one on December the 29th when we were talking about mycotoxins, the mold, the invisible mold that you can't see. Shout out to the Cape Crusader, Susan Thixton. These are from some of her statistics. 60 million pounds of pet foods have been recalled in the last 5 years for mold, aka aflatoxins. It's a really big problem. You can see here the brand new study on this side. 65 commercial pet foods were tested. Over 72% had pesticides. 76.9% mycotoxins were found in it. So you just talked about pesticides. We just talked about glycine, but the mold situation is such a big problem currently
Yeah,
that like this is like one of the even massive reasons why broccoli sprouts should be in there. We also, a quick show, this was another study that just came out. Look, it says April the 15th of
Yeah.
2026, because it's
Yep.
not even really published yet, pertaining to PFAS, these forever chemicals. And I know broccoli sprouts have been linked to the benefits of forever chemicals. The samples that were tested, fish and grain ingredients drove the long chain PFAS contamination patterns. It's why you're seeing now in the news feeds all these pictures of cats eating food, because everybody look for fish-based products, and the issues that are currently happening with this widespread PFAS contamination in pet food. So another like insurance in the product.
Yeah, it is. And sulforaphane does a really great job with PFAS in terms of a food-based source of detoxification from chemicals that you basically can't get away from. Next up is the OG of liver support. Inside
Yeah.
Scoopers, many of you have been my clients over the decades and decades, and y'all know that back in 2000, I started recommending you give milk thistle after heartworm pills. Give it every day for 7 days after you give a heartworm pill. Now, I still love milk thistle because it still does such a great job of assisting with phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. I love it. And I still recommend people use milk thistle. If you are putting things into the body that have to be metabolized through the liver, you need to be doing something for the liver to help get those chemicals out. And milk thistle does an amazing job. Hence it being included in this formula. But Rodney, one of the things that I realized in 2006 is that milk thistle alone won't get rid of everything. And to this day, do you know that I just saw a stat online that about 1 in 3 dogs have perpetually elevated liver enzymes, and that people are just accepting it as it's, even though it's not scary high, it's above normal. And people are saying, I don't know what to do. My vet says it's okay because it's not really high. I'm just going to leave my dog's or cat's ALT slightly elevated. That's concerning to me, but that's also exactly why I put together this formula, because milk thistle will help liver cells, hepatocytes, regenerate themselves. But there are other types of toxins and there are other substances that do other good things in the liver to assist the body in what I call comprehensive detoxification and clearance of unwanted substances from the body, including SOD. Superoxide dismutase, Rodney, is one of the ways that kitties need additional assistance in helping clear some of these environmental contaminants out of their bodies. And Inside Scoopers, if you've never heard the term xenobiotic before, xenobiotics are foreign substances. In fact, Rodney, I think you have a slide that has a definition on it. It basically
What's right here on the
is
bottom? It
all
says,
of
yeah,
it.
any foreign chemical
Oh,
substance. I know it's so hard to read. So it's
I
any foreign
just can't
chemical
read it.
substance that
Yeah.
enters the body and is not naturally
Yes.
produced by the organism, such as drugs, environmental toxins, pesticides, or synthetic food additives.
Okay, and I can't read that without my shades
got
on.
you.
But all that
And
to
then
say,
also
Inside
shout out to
Scoopers.
the researchers. This is actually the image that was put in the last study on xenobiotic compounds, and you can see like the synthetic dyes, the pharmaceutical industries, agriculture. Can you hear Shubi? Like between Shubi and my dad, like I'm telling you.
I can't hear Shuvi. But I will tell you that SOD, superoxide dismutase, also an endogenous naturally produced compound by the body, but is oftentimes not produced in adequate quantities to be able to address all of the environmental contaminant load coming in from the outside. So additional superoxide dismutase is especially beneficial for these environmental chemicals that you really have no control over being able to moderate or getting rid of. It does a nice job of secondarily supplying the raw materials for excretion, binding, and hauling them out of your animal system. Again, I also love this compound for kitties. If you were to ask me, okay, if you had to pick one thing to give kitties for repeated lifestyle exposures, I probably would pick SOD. However, the next lineup in my detox is actually
This is the
my
one you've been
most
going
favorite
crazy
compound.
about. This
I
is
know.
by far your most favorite, I feel. Tadka.
Inside Scoopers, the reason that I am passionate about taurouro-deoxycholic acid, that's a big ass long word. We just call it TUDCA because who wants to say taurouro-deoxycholic acid?
Nobody.
This, Rodney, this is the new milk thistle. This is the new game changer. This is a supplement that is going to revolutionize a bunch of metabolic processes that we currently don't have natural, non-toxic remedies for. TUDCA does a lot of amazing things. It is a naturally produced bile substance. In fact, Rodney, do you know in veterinary medicine, we prescribe UDCA, so TUDCA is taurouro-deoxycholic acid. DUCK is prescribed in veterinary medicine. It's called ursodiol. And Inside Scoopers, those of you that have had dogs or kitties with elevated bile acids or liver enzymes, your veterinarian probably prescribed really expensive ursodiol for your dog or cat. It is a beautiful, natural bile acid that helps the body excrete toxins out of the body and helps keep bilirubin and liver enzymes normal. And the reason, Rodney, I love TUDCA to the extent that I do is that does it bind up and remove xenobiotics from the body? Yes. Does it help reduce ALT and make liver enzymes normal with long-standing liver stress? Yes. It also prevents bile sludging. So it prevents fatty liver disease, hepatitis, and cirrhosis. But it also has neurodegenerative effects. And I think my dad right now is watching. Jim Becker, if you are watching, many of you guys know that my dad has been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and the amount of amazing things that TUDCA is doing. Does it detoxify the liver? Yes. Does it help the liver regenerate and flush out toxins stored in the liver? Yes. Does it help bile? It sounds crazy, but the excretion of bile is one of the ways that we get rid of a lot of toxins out of our body. And a lot of animals have sludgy gallbladders. TUDCA helps relieve that sludge and keeps the detox through bile going. But Rodney, it's so amazing at other benefits, including neurodegenerative benefits. My dad will tell me that the only thing he's ever taken for Parkinson's that he can feel a difference in his body is TUDCA. And the reason being is the mechanism of action, Rodney, is what TUDCA does in the body is it stabilizes mitochondrial membranes. It stabilizes the membranes of the powerhouse of the cells of our animal's liver and our livers, and it helps prevent nerve death. So does it work in the liver? Yes, but it also works other places in the body to help prevent nerve degeneration. So it's one of these substances that literally I take a 500 milligram capsule of TUDCA every day, and I do not have gallbladder or liver problems or neurodegenerative diseases. I also don't want them. And I know that my body is being hit with unwanted chemical exposures that do affect my central nervous system. So I'm using TUDCA prophylactically for my own body, but Homer and Callie are also on small doses of TUDCA because I want their detoxification processes to just continue flowing. And both dogs and cats are so prone to sludgy gallbladders. You have said to me that that's one of the biggest things you've seen in animals are perpetually sludgy gallbladders. And TUDCA's like a miracle, all natural, amazing substance that keeps gallbladders flowing.
Yeah, shout out to Allison, the inside scooper, who learned all about TUDCA when she had a gallbladder stone that was life-threatening for her 12-year-old dog and couldn't do the surgery. And they just told her, take the dog home. And then I remember reaching out to you and you were like, hey, this detox protocol that I have, including the TUDCA, modifying the diet can be a game changer, and it saved the dog's life. I mean, the power of a lot of these unbelievable sort of bioactive compounds put together is just on another level. But not a lot of people think about the gallbladder until there's a problem, and especially it takes a while
Yeah.
too to figure out that the gallbladder is an issue because you start to get all these things in blood work that start to go off kilter.
Yep. Yeah. That is exactly right. So you'd never know that you have a sludgy gallbladder. It doesn't, unless you're doing an ultrasound, you're like, oh my gosh, your dog or cat doesn't have adequate, healthy, normal bile flow. TUDCA helps support normal detoxification through the gallbladder. The only time I don't use TUDCA is the same time you don't use ursodiol. If you have a complete blockage of your gallbladder, nothing's going to work. But until that happens, for the love of God and all things holy, do what you can to prevent the gallbladder from blocking. And the only all natural side effect free substance is either ursodiol, which is $200 a prescription, or TUDCA. And TUDCA is such a beautiful gift to the normal flow of healthy bile. So it improves digestion, yes. Does it help with, if you're a human, does it help with fatty liver disease, alcoholic fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? Yes. But for pets who shouldn't be drinking, it is one of those amazing substances that helps keep liver flow healthy. So if you have a dog or cat that has elevated liver enzymes and they're on milk thistle and it's still elevated, TUDCA is your next go-to backup. And I've just seen amazing things by using this
Yeah.
supplement, all natural, side effect free. And just, I think really truly in the next 10 years, you're going to see this influx of TUDCA studies because of what they're learning with the research. It's just really exciting, as you can see. I'm excited.
Naslie says, I feel like I have to take this supplement too, along with my fur baby. My gosh.
It's so
Well, these are
it's
all the things that
so
you
we
take,
were just
basically.
talking about
If you
that.
come see my
Yes.
counter, Naslie, these are all my counter that I take myself. So
I
it was
am
just
totally
it was
so
just
in
such
the
a nightmare
scoopers.
to have to get each and every single one of them one by one and just take each capsule. Like you're like a capsule machine.
Well, no one wants to ingest. This is these are 12 capsules. I'm not doing that, but I am eating this. Inside Scoopers, this product is arriving at the warehouse on Wednesday. The second it is shipped to my house, I will be eating it. Because until someone else can produce a human product, there isn't this blend out there. And I want this so badly for not only my pets, but this blend is what I'm giving my animals. I open up those capsules every single day to all 12 of them, make a little pot, scoop it out, give some to Homie, some to Callie. I am 100% going to take this substance. If you are a human supplement manufacturer, please make this formula because I will take it. And everyone I know will probably take it. Until then, this is an all human grade supplement. It's completely safe and fine if you want to take it. So
Okay.
it's no problem there. Chlorella is something that is important to me. I learned about chlorella when I had my amalgams removed, Rodney. I had the mercury taken out of my mouth. My dentist did heavy metals testing. I was really high. My dentist was the one that put me on
It's really
chlorella
high.
to get rid of heavy metals. Yeah, it was.
You were high
Chlorella to the
when you got
rescue.
to the dentist, not before you got to the dentist.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, chlorella helped reduce my heavy metals inside scoopers, and that's one of the reasons I've included it here. Chlorella also does a really good job of binding heavy metals in the gut. Chlorella is a GI detoxifier. So if by chance there's cooties in your food, cooties meaning if you've got heavy metals in your food, if you have unwanted levels of potential contaminants in your food, for instance, y'all know that rice has arsenic. We've all been aware that that's one of the reasons that feeding rice could be scary is that just there's organic arsenic. It has nothing to do with the quality of the rice. It's that the soils, many plants absorb heavy metals from the soil, and then we eat those plants and we end up with heavy metals. Chlorella binds those heavy metals in the gut before absorption can occur,
Listen,
which is why I included
talking
it.
about rice. You see these stats right there? You see the Clean Label Project just
No.
recently come out? Put your little peepers on, man. Dry food, according to the Clean Label Project, testing 79 of the top selling pet foods and found that dry food had the highest levels of heavy metals and contaminants. Fresh food had the lowest. Lead and mercury were 21 times higher in dry food. Arsenic was 13 times higher. Cadmium was 6 times higher. Acrylamide was 24 times higher. Plastic related chemicals like BPA, BPS, DEH with one more initial. We're also the highest in dry food. And then for the people that kind of aren't a fan of the clean label project and maybe the some of the politics that were around it, here is another one, Inside Scoopers, that we just talked to you about a few months ago, posted on October the 20th of 2025. Heavy metals is a key environmental aggravator in atopic dermatitis in companion dogs. I mean, it's a really big problem. More reason to show that the environment is causing these type of skin allergies that so many people are seeing that think might be food related, but really it's all these heavy metals that are within the environment. So yay for chlorella. I've always been a massive fan of chlorella.
I am a massive fan. Kate, Homer's groomer, if you're listening, Kate does a lot of amazing things, but Kate is also Homer's groomer. And yesterday, Kate contacted us. Kate's dog had a seizure after rabies vaccine. And she said to me, and then she started cluster seizuring. And Kate's like, I didn't want to give it. I had to give it. It is pretty frustrating when you give a rabies vaccine, your animal starts seizing, and then the vet's like, oh, you suddenly have epilepsy. Kate's like, my dog doesn't have epilepsy. She just got a whopper load. If you are, rabies vaccines are adjuvanted. They have mercury in them. If you get the thimerosal-free mercury vaccine, then they have aluminum in them. Aluminum and mercury are in vaccines, in the rabies vaccine, just is. So one of the things I will tell you to do is give some chlorella. And one of the things I'm going to give you, Kate, the second this product is shipped to my house, I'm going to give this product to you to give to your dog to help reduce some of that heavy metal exposure from the vaccine that you just got. Additionally, Kate, if your girl is continuing to seize, I'm going to recommend that you give her GABA aminobutyric acid. And GABA is actually the next supplement on this list. Inside Scoopers, you hear me talk about GABA all the time because it's the calming neurotransmitter that helps balance glutamate in the body. It's a very important substance. If y'all are giving any neurotoxic pesticides, you need to be giving GABA because the risk of excitatory secondary unwanted side effects from isozazolines is there. Rodney, even the FDA has put out a warning saying, hey, beware, flea and tick pesticides that are isozazoline based have the potential for neuroexcitatory events, which means your animals could begin seizing. There again, if you apply an isozazoline topical pesticide and your animals start seizing that day, they didn't suddenly become epileptic. They're having a reaction. And GABA aminobutyric acid is that calming neurotransmitter that can help prevent additional unwanted seizures. So Kate is going to use GABA until she can get a hold of this. But if you have to listen, flea and tick medications are required in many instances in the South. When you have infestations, you got to use them. If you're going to use flea and tick pesticides on your animal, just do something to detoxify the central nervous system from those chemicals. The reason I included GABA, Rodney, is that GABA specifically gets into the brain, and some of the other substances like milk thistle, I love. It doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier. GABA does get into the central nervous system and can help provide this calming effects to help the body with neurotoxins, including isozazoline. So I did put GABA in there for all the animals worldwide that have to be on neuro damaging potentially chemicals. This is a little insurance that you're not going to have a secondary adverse event.
If you're just tuning in for the first time, Inside Scoopers, we are talking about the daily Detox Dozen that the good doctor has given me years and years and years ago. That's like literally been life-saving for so many dogs. It's now all put together. And now you can see Inside Scoopers, like my stress, like you're getting an explanation for each and every single one. This is literally when you are trying to navigate through this environmental change that we're facing, this bombardment of all of these different forever chemicals and so on and so forth. You can see the importance of each and every single one, like L-glutathione. That is a big one for me because all we ever talk about in the Inside Scoop is indoor air quality and what our homes are looking like. In fact, the I have here, because I got so many things opened up. Shout out to the AVMA check this out, Karen. Just recently, in fact, I sent this to shout out to Dr. Lori Koger for getting me the full study. Evidence linking ambient air pollution to domestic animal health outcomes. So we're even seeing it now. Veterinarians are increasingly confronted with questions about the health impacts of poor air quality. And so this is basically a calling to veterinarians, Karen, that, hey, these are discussions that pet parents are going to start asking. And air
Yep.
quality today is a really, really big problem, especially frying in the household, acrolein being released from Teflon pans. We talked about flame retardants on furniture, things that are off-gassing into the air. You remember when I brought that new refrigerator here on the Inside Scoop? That thing off-gassed for like 30
Yeah.
days.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Oh, and you have so Rodney's air purifier measures the amount of VOCs. It was like you were like red zone for
30 days.
weeks.
It took 30 days
So
till it stopped off-gassing.
yeah. So the cool thing is glycine and N-acetylcysteine, Rodney, are the precursors of building endogenous glutathione. But I put some glutathione right on in there, and I put the absorbable form because as your animals are breathing in, like if you get a new fridge or new carpet, you can smell that new car smell is VOCs. So that glutathione is in there so that it instantly begins working in the body while providing the secondary precursors for more glutathione to be made and recycled. We're also just giving extra in the body to take care of potential environmental toxins that are hitting that day. So glutathione is something that probably every physical body can benefit from a little more of. It is expensive if you buy it by itself. It's an expensive supplement, but it's one of those things that when you read about it, it's like, ooh, this is something that environmentally it helps the body cope with all of these insults in a multimodal
I know.
fashion. And that's one of the things that I think is probably the most important take home message is that just supplying liver support doesn't cut it anymore. Because what about the inhaled airborne toxins? What about the central nervous system toxins? What about the lymphatic system that has to deal with clearing out these toxins? So this multimodal strategy is a way to be able to provide the raw materials for the entire body to just get rid of the crud right on out.
Listen, the next one's my favorite one. Obviously, anybody in the Inside Scoop or anybody that I've seen here locally in my hometown, I've developed this brand new love for fulvic and humic acid, how they synergistically work together. I am so excited that these are here. I'll give you back the microphone, but then I'll take it back for a second.
I did include humic fulvic acids for the same reason that you love them. I love them. Inside Scoopers, many of you, we talk about it a lot on podcasts. Many of you love and use Ion. Me too. Shout out to Zach Bush. Excellently done with giving us Ion. Ion is humic acid, and humic acid does an amazing job, again, of binding toxins in the gut, Rodney. It does such a good job of binding up things that are coming in through the GI tract. Humic fulvic acid actually helps not only prevent leaky gut from occurring, but if your animal has leaky gut, it helps seal up the gut. Now, here's what's interesting. Ion is humic acid. It's if you use that product, love it. It is really, really, really expensive, and it's humic acid, 5 milligrams of humic acid. In my Liver Lift product, I do have 5 milligrams of humic acid, but I also have added fulvic acid because, Rodney, if y'all go to PubMed and do research, most of the detoxification actions you're going to read about come from fulvic acid. Now, humic acid has great research behind it, but fulvic acid has more. So I've included both for good measure. What have you seen by using humic and fulvic acids?
So like literally we've had these conversations where we've talked about it week in and week out. Shout out to Dr. Katie Kangas who kind of brought it up to me years ago, where she would say, I was a huge fan of Ion Support, the way that it sealed up the microbiome. I know on their page they claim that within 16 minutes it seals up the gut after damage from pesticides and so on and so forth. But people swear by it, Karen. Literally, shout out to Jackie, team member from Planet Paws. She would I think by day 1 or 2, she was like, oh my gosh, I can see a result right away. I literally have people that have a calendar and they'll mark on their calendar when they have super ultra itchy dogs. When they start Ion Support, let's say with a fecal microbiome transplant, they see such it's like a fecal microbiome transplant on steroids because you're sealing up the microbiome at the same time. It literally kills the itch. And then when the humic acid sort of disappears, the itch comes back. So this is kind of what we mean inside Scooper. So like if this is this blue line here that we're showing you, this is your gut barrier, which protects the microvilli and things from getting into the bloodstream, and the immune system starts flipping out when things start to get in there. So in the gut barrier, as you see here, this blue line that breaks, the humic acid, the fulvic acid, they basically are supposed to come in and help get that barrier sealed up again to help the immune system from the overload of those particulate matter that you see leaking into the microbiome. Now, I do know, I think it's like 5 milligrams in a teaspoon. Is it a tablespoon, teaspoon of the product?
It is.
You got 5
Oh,
milligrams
yeah. Yeah, of ion.
of,
Yeah, it's 5
5
milligrams.
milligrams
Yeah, and I have 5 milligrams of humic and then 10
of
milligrams of fulvic,
fulvic.
Rodney, because they also work hand in hand. They're synergistic. Humic and fulvic acids are synergistic in terms of binding up gut toxins. Research shows heavy metals, pesticides, glyphosate, PFAS, and foodborne toxins coming in. That humic fulvic is the excellent, that first line of defense in the gut, does an amazing job at just not letting it into the body. So I added goodies in for extra gut protection. And when you put it all together, you have liver lift.
It is friggin' exciting. Microbiome. I'm just ultra excited about it because not only is it detoxing on a daily basis, but it's also assisting with the gut microbiome,
Yeah.
as you know, which is critical and essential all in one. And today, for Inside Scoopers, you always want to give them a surprise.
I do.
You
I
have
do.
a
It's Scoopers, I
surprise.
love you. Yes, I love you. And you have been so supportive of me doing my own thing. Of course, I'm going to give you a discount first. And so today, this product will be in my warehouse Wednesday. I just wanted to give you a love gift of 15% off Liver Lift. You can go to liverliftdetox.com, and then the code is liver15, and you'll be able to get 15% off this product right now. So I just wanted to give you some love before you'll see it officially launch next week. But I just wanted to come on, do a quick Facebook Live, and tell you how much I appreciate you being an inside scooper, but additionally, how excited I am for this product. Kate, the second I get some, I will be dropping it off at your place so that your girl can start on it as well. I'm starting on it. All my babies will start on it. And the thing that I love the most is it's just a scoop instead of a little tiny scoop instead of all of my little capsules. It's just everything in one to make it very simple. We need simple.
Yeah, I just typed it. I just typed the website for those Inside Scoopers in the comment section, liverliftdetox.com. I do want to say also, a la your incredible CEO, Inside Scoopers, the primitive probiotics that came out, you guys destroyed that and it sold out very quick. And I know there's been people that have reordered and getting a whole reorder and a whole new shipment that's finally come back in, right? But this time, out of the CEO, there's only so many. So it's first come, first serve. That's why Inside Scoopers get first dibs of it. Nobody expected the sellout of it. I don't, look, if you go back to the reviews of that damn thing, I don't have the current ones. And I know that I'm not really supposed to flash the reviews, but these were all of the incredible reviews from last time on the product, which we're like ultra excited about. But now the new product, the Liver Lift that's out, Inside Scoopers get first dibs,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. And that was my purpose of coming live today, is just to give our awesome community. We have this incredible, kind, educated, intelligent, caring community of 2.0 pet parents, researchers, vets coming together, supporting each other, because we all want to learn and we all want to do the very best for our animals. And coming together as a community is one of the best things that we can do in terms of sharing the knowledge, but also supporting each other, getting our questions answered. But as we learn more and know more, Rodney, we're able to pass that on. And my sharing Liver Lift with my community is the best strategy I can give you, Inside Scoopers, to be able to comprehensively provide all the raw materials that your beloved's bodies need to be able to clear out the unwanted and support healthy metabolic normal detoxification processes with no detox side effects. You're not going to see anything except more vibrant, energetic, metabolically stable animals. There's no diarrhea. There's no goopy eyes. There's nothing weird that's going to happen when you start this product. It's just going to help the body detox more efficiently. So it's very gentle detox. It's very effective detox. And thank you. It's all in one, so you don't have to open up a dozen capsules every day. So that was my purpose behind making it. And I just wanted to share with everyone this beautiful new product and give you guys a discount code. This is a potent, shocking, and very realistic slide, Rodney, and it's one of my favorite slides made because it summarizes why in this day and age, Inside Scoopers, you need to be thinking about the fact that our pets don't have one insult hitting their bodies. They have tiny, repeated daily insults that are bombarding their systems from every imaginable source. So it's just not one thing we have to think of anymore. It's all the things. And that becomes overwhelming. So rather than having anxiety or feeling overwhelmed or not doing anything, my goal was to give you a simple, easy, economical solution to addressing all of these stressors in a simple daily means of supplying the body what it needs to get rid of them. And that really is my heart's mission in making this product. It's an important product because of the world we currently live in. And rather than do nothing or waiting for organ degeneration to occur, this is a proactive strategy to address those metabolic hits as they are hitting our pets' bodies.
Yeah, I'm ultra grateful. I'm sure the Inside Scoopers that were able to, years and years for the last 10 years, put this protocol that they had to do one by one together, but to be able to go to their veterinarian, to be able to get current liver status, current kidney status, and then turn around and use these detox systems, go back to the veterinarian, show the improvement on the blood work is just next level. And
It is.
the improvements were seen immediately, which I'm very, very excited for. So there it is, Inside Scoopers. Dr. Becker's new liver lift for you guys first.
Yeah.
This Sunday will still be on. We have Dr. Chris Besant onto the show.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
So see everyone again on Sunday. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me. And I am so excited to give this gift to our community in terms of low stress, daily, comprehensive detoxification. Easy, simple, and quite effective. And I'm really excited to see the long-term benefits. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you Sunday.
So long, everybody. Yay.
Woohoo!